Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of my business show. My business show is a show that showcases female entrepreneurs, but today it isn't going to be business as usual. 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, on the 8th of October, two music artists, Fola Ifalana, also known as Falz, and Douglas Algu, better known as Runtown, tweeted on their page that they were going to be coming out for NSAS protest. That was going to be the first NSAS protest this year in Lagos. And this protest led to numerous other protests in different parts of the country, all of them peaceful, calling for police reforms and the disbandment of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, better known as SARS. This protest led to people calling for different kinds of reforms of government policies, and we saw the likes of Aisha Yesufu, amongst others, speaking out against the government. All of a sudden, we started to hear different reports of hoodlums vandalizing properties, and then came Tuesday, 20th of October 2020. The events that have unfolded since then have been nothing short of horrific. Our Lagos was taken over by hoodlums, and some other parts of the country too saw different people going about vandalizing and causing ruckus everywhere. People were killed. Police and TV stations were set on fire. Malls, banks vandalized, and the list goes on. I'm sorry, it has been quite an emotional week for me, and I know for everybody in Lagos. And so today, joining me are women from different walks of life who will share their views about the NSAS protests, how we got to this point that we are in now, and where do we go from here. But before I call on the first person, I would like us to have a 1 minute silence for those who lost their lives at the Lekki toll gate on the 20th of October 2020, and also those that have lost their lives as a result of this protest. Let's have a 1 minute silence for them. May their souls rest in peace. Yeah, so let's get right into it. The first person that will be joining me today is Lara Omolara Amubiaya. Omolara, if you could please send me a request to join the show, and then we'll get on with it. Is Omolara here? Omolara, if you are here, please could you signify by waving or something? Please send me a request to be on the show. Okay. So let's wait for Lara to join. And I'm sorry, because of the emotional, I didn't say thank you for joining. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. It's my pleasure to. Hello, Amla.
Hello. Hi.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming to share your views. We really appreciate it. Good evening.
Good evening, Wumi. Good to be here.
Okay.
How's your day
Amla,
going?
fine, fine, fine. Thank you. I have just one question for you, Amala, and so maybe you'd share your views about it. How do you think we got here? How did we get to this point of vandalization, of killing, of the government showing lack of empathy? How did we get here?
Well, it's a very sad one. I, for one, I've been broken. I've not been able to have a good sleep since it happened. And I like to say that my heart really goes out to all the people involved. The ones that are in the hospitals, the ones that have lost their lives. I never for once in my life thought that we will be here, we'll get to a stage like this. You hear it
Mm.
in the movies, you hear it in stories. I never for once thought, this generation will see things like this. But I must say that we didn't get here in one day. It didn't just happen. And exposure, and because we have. So it is between the haves and the have-nots. So if we can, even those people that are in power that were saying they are showing lack of empathy and what have you, they got there in their youthful age. They got there in their 30s. They got there in their 40s. They started engaging in nation building or otherwise in their youthful age. So the most significant thing for me is the mindset. Because the same strategies that you used 30 years ago, you can't keep using the same strategies today and you still expect it to work. Fine, they worked on us getting freedom, getting democracy, looking up to them based on basic amenities. But we've stayed there for too long. We've stayed there for too long. So 60 years down the lane, we are still expecting to have good water, electricity. We should have moved. And, because of this other part, the have-nots, the people that are unexposed, the people that are not so educated, I think our leaders are comfortable keeping them there so that they can use them for whatever, ulterior motives that they have. So if we can, beyond the education, beyond academics, beyond all of that, if we can put things in place to change, to shift people's mindsets, even with the so-called rich people, with the so-called upper class and middle class, there's that mindset thing. I'm sure those people that don't, we see the way they throw chairs in the house. We see the way they punch each other. So isn't that thuggery? The fact that they're not on the streets, but that they could throw punch in their agbadas and in their Range Rovers and all that. That's the only difference. So for me, it is the mindset thing. With the rich, with the poor, with whoever, we need to shift the mindset. We need to have empathy. We need to understand communication skills. Do you understand? We need to understand how to manage relationships. If you have empathy for people, if you truly love the other person, you will not want to keep that person uneducated, unexposed, so that you can use the person for your selfish gains. That is what we just seen play out. So if you get, with that mindset shift needs to start from the top all through to the bottom. Because you see this happen every day. Our senators come online to showcase their wealth without showing the workings. So the ordinary guy out there sweating it out under the sun is looking like, why do I need to see this guy?
No,
He sleeps at meetings. He sleeps at meetings, he drives the Range Rover, he does this. So why do I need to go and hustle? Why do I need to go and struggle before I get to that position? Why can't I just look for shortcuts? And you are empowering them negatively by using them for your selfish gains and greasing their palms, giving them some money. So for me, it started from the mindset shift. Because if we can't do away with them. We need to learn from their mistakes. So that even when we as youth get into power, we don't fall into the same, trap that they fell into. I'm sure when they got into power, they were gingered and all that. But because there were no accountability, people were not demanding so much from them. Greed came in. They didn't have empathy. Because if you have empathy, you will not come and start talking about whether people died or not. That won't be the argument here. If you have empathy, people were wounded. At least you will show empathy for that one first. So I believe we need to have a mindset shift. We need to have a mindset. We need to have empathy for those people that we have tagged as thugs. But those people that we have tagged, that we're calling thugs, we are calling this, we're calling that. It is by the virtue of where they are. Do you understand? I don't see any difference from the people throwing chairs and punching themselves in the house and the people that looted and set things ablaze. They both don't know better, because you have this is the things that differentiated us. So I say it's the mindset from across, all like through the line mindset shift. And what we can start to do in our own little corner is start to help these people in terms of shifting their mindset, in terms of helping them to have a vision, helping them to recognize who they are. Do you understand? Who they are. Let them know, yes, who they are. So even if you don't have money in your pocket, you don't have physical cash, you don't think you have to resort or you have to go low to go and be doing some kind of things. Because if that mindset shift is not there, even if you empower them with money, if you empower them with other things, the mindset will still make them get to the house and throw tables and go outside the country and disgrace the nation. So the mindset shift first. And you can start with the neighbors, your mechanics, your security man, your washerman. We can start with them. Treat them as human beings. When we have empathy, people will know how to struggle with you or what to eat. People will not be struggling on, if you are eating, if you have empathy, you will think of people that are not eating. You think of people that don't have food on their table. At 60, these are the things, this small food, shelter shouldn't be the things we should be struggling about. We need to ask our leaders more. We need to set the bar higher. For the past how many years, it's been food, shelter, water, electricity. Food, shelter, water, electricity. And they come with their manifestos with the same things and we accept it. Those ones should be a given. It should be the basics.
Exactly. It should be the basics. Somebody shouldn't be commissioning goal and saying he has done something.
He has done something. Yes, and we applaud them. We applaud them. After they throw the chairs in the house, we call them honorable. But these guys have gone to loot, and I see no difference. Now we are naming them thugs, we are naming them hoodlums, we are naming them all sorts of names. Do you understand? The onus is on all of us. On all of us. We saw what happened with the king of Ijora. The fact that his constituent, they defended him, they didn't allow hoodlums to come and burn his palace down, shows his relationship with them. So things like communication skills, how you talk with that other person, whether it's a mechanic or you think he's lower than you, how you relate with that person, the kind of empathy you have for your neighbor, for people that are working for you, even at work, all those things need to come into play. We need to value those things more than exchange of physical cash and what have you. Thank you, Omomi.
Thank you so much, Omola. Thank you. That was quite awesome. When people talk about these things, it really baffles me. Somebody make sure there's light. Somebody makes sure there's water. Somebody makes sure that they're good roads. And we just feel as if because we've been, you are used to, there's something Nigeria has, this manage it like that. MILT, M-I-L-T, manage it like that. So we are used to it. So when somebody does something that is supposed to be a norm, we see it as extraordinary, and it baffles me, because that is, as in, it's, and they'll be like, his past people, they do like that. This one at least did something. Let's applaud him. You know, it's quite sad, really. We also have another person coming up, Tinu Phillips. Tinu, have you sent me a request? Tinu, Tinu, are you here? If Tinu Phillips isn't here, let me go next to the next person. Cynthia, is Cynthia here? Can you please send me a request to be on the show? Okay, let me invite Tinu. I've invited you, Tinu, so accept my invite and please come up. Thank you. Hello, Tinu. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, I know. Like for you, I've seen on your page the things that you talked about, the things that you said on your page. You know, you expressed your views, and they were quite strong views, I must say. So now I want to ask you the first question. What would you say the underlying factors, and what would you say are the underlying factors that led to this? Seeing that the government did respond to the initial demands, in quotes, but it still generated into what you saw on Tuesday. It degenerated into what we saw on Tuesday. What are the underlying factors? What led to this? What do you think led to this?
Okay, so how many minutes do I have?
You have 10 minutes.
Yes, okay, great. So this is actually my own personal views, and we all are entitled to our opinion and all that. So this is my personal view. Whether we can say that the government was prompt or not, it is arguable. Some school of thought actually believe that the government wasn't prompt enough, while some believe that the government was prompt enough. So it then depends on whatever we decide to hold on to. It's quite an unfortunate incident, and it's such a sad one, to be candid. But how did we get there, right? The first thing I'm going to say right here is that for every protester on this particular call, because you can't say you were not a protester. I'm actually one of the protesters. You are. Some people were in their homes. They call themselves the Moses Gang. They were praying, supporting those on the field. Exactly. Some of us actually went to do the prayer walk and all that. That was the language we understood. And again, for some people, they were actually on the field. They were really clamoring for that change that we needed. So to every protester right here, I just want to say something, that protest was not a failure. So it depends on the story you tell yourself, because you need to tell yourself the right story so you can really forge ahead. It was not a failure. But were there some lapses that we identified that we probably need to carry out a kind of course correction on so that we can do better? Yes, there were some lapses. Okay, so I'm now going to identify those things, that the factors, underlying factors that made it to degenerate to what we actually saw. And the first one is actually lack of trust. So this is a fundamental issue. Yes, it is a fundamental issue. Everyone in government will have to deal with.
Government, yeah.
Yes, everyone in government will have to deal with it. And it is not people's fault. It is not our fault. It is actually because government in the past historically have failed us. Consistently, government has failed us. So even when they were calling for dialogue and all that, people didn't trust them. Even when there was they were calling for engagement, people never trusted them. Not because of anything, but because you just felt there was a time we said end SARS, you ended SARS, and the following year SARS was still there. Till day SARS is still there, and then immediately you were so swift to say we've given you what's it, SWAT, right? And then people are like, okay, what work have you done? We really can't trust you because this has been happening for many years. So lack of trust is actually an underlying, a fundamental issue for anyone in government to deal with. What they can do is consistent action and also transparency. It doesn't mean that they'll be able to win 100% of the people, but to a certain extent, that would help them win a particular percentage of the numbers. The second one, I'll be speaking to the protesters this time around, that the structureless structure, which happened to be the strength of that particular movement, at some point became the weakness of the movement. And there was a need for us to re-strategize. But because there was no leader per se, there was no structure that makes us look at some people as the leaders per se that we could listen to, that could give us direction. So that actually became the weakness of the structure. If you see online, I saw that one of the what do we call them? The stars that were representing us at that point in time, one of them actually said it online, Fowles, said it online that, okay, because of the curfew, let us come back on social media. We will definitely, curfew does not limit us on social media. And after the curfew, we go back on the streets. While another voice was saying, let's go to the Lekki toll gate, let's be there and all that. So there were different voices, and people, you know, for every voice, there's an audience. For every voice, there is a follower. Whatever you put out there, there's somebody that will say, oh, you make sense. So that kind of structure that wasn't really there, as in it became a weakness at some point. We were supposed to re-strategize, but we held on to that particular structure. This is my personal view. The third one, I would say that SWOT analysis was not well carried out. That is, we saw our strengths, we saw our opportunities, but we did not identify our weaknesses and also the threats very well. Yes, because when you talk about the weaknesses, we are talking about all the fellow protesters. You know, they call them hoodlums and also thugs. They are not hoodlums and thugs. They are actually fellow protesters. They are protesters too. They are citizens. The only language they understood, that they understand, is violence. I'm sorry. So we were supposed to have carried out that analysis, identify them as a weakness, do what we are supposed to do right, or even cut this protest short at some point for dialogue and come back to the streets when we realize that there is no action. This is my personal view, really. And also for the threats, there are international threats. There are other political threats that might probably want to hijack the protest at different points in time. Our tentacles were supposed to be open to these things, that at different points in time, some people might come to dent us, they'll carry out their own agenda. That is actually the third one. The fourth one, Sorosuke versus the off the mic. Sorosuke generation actually felt that they are the only one pushing this. No, it is not versus off the mic. You can't do this alone. We can't do it alone. See, one thing the Sorosuke generation has is that we have energy, we have vision, we have the voice, social media voice, which is very powerful. But one thing you must never forget is that even the off-mic generation, they have experience. And in experience, there is knowledge and wisdom. We can't do away with that. Did you listen to Peter Side?
Yes, I did that. I was about to say that.
Peter Side actually knew that. He said he was already shouting because he knows that you cannot sustain a protest for 7 days without being hijacked, without coming in.
Yeah,
so exactly. So, and that is why we need a collaboration. It's a collaborative effort. We need them to partner with us. There are many good ones among them. I checked out, I did a research on the population, working population, and that is 15 years to 65 to 64 years. And I realized that we are like the 54%, we own the 54% of the population. So that means that till 64, we still need those guys to give us ideas, to give us direction. Yeah. We can't do it alone. We can't be saying to us, okay, every of the mic out of the way. No, we need them. We need ideas and all that. The last one is that some people actually feel that 2023 is far. It's a microwave mindset. It is around the corner. Some people want us to have, some people want us to have a microwave kind of solution, whereby we get the solution right now. And to get it right now, many souls will have to die. Not just the guilty, but also more of the innocent will have to die. And that is why I'm actually not open to that. we can deal 5x5 agenda now, but our problem is beyond 5x5. Our problem is actually our problem is beyond 7x7. Our problem is more. And for
it's too much.
Yes, and for us to be able to solve the real problems, the protest was good. It helped us to be able to gain the attention of the government, right? Now they know that we are serious. And again, the protest was able to align us. Now we have a voice. I don't look at Wunmi because she's from one state. I don't look at Amaka because she's from a tribe. I don't look at another person because the person is fair or I'm black. The most important thing is that we were able to consolidate. And that is one of the key achievements of that particular. And we must tailor it towards 2023. 2023 is around the corner. If you look at it, a lot of work has to be done. Somebody is saying that 2023 is far. I said, no, it's not far. A lot of work has to be done. And one of the work is actually grassroots advocacy. You see, those are weaknesses. I'm talking about those guys we call hoodlums and thugs. Those are the ones that the politicians actually feed because of hunger. When you are hungry, you don't think right. But we have to sensitize them. We have to start doing the work. We have to sensitize them and also empower them. We have to raise funds amongst individuals and also corporate entities so that we can empower them. They can see as it's a sustainable solution, not just eat now and then tomorrow be hungry. And then we talk to them. If we can win them to our side, they will increase our numbers. So those are actually the points that I was able to highlight, that going forward, it's not a failure. It has only shown us where our weaknesses are and we can forge ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I really agree with you. It was not a failure at all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right.
I already have Cynthia here, I think. Cynthia, could you send me a request? Is Cynthia online? I have Cynthia Ifude here. Cynthia Ifude is supposed to let us know what people want. Cynthia, are you online? Okay. If Cynthia isn't on, please, if you're supposed to join me on this show, Cynthia, Nneka, and Jumoke, could you please send me a request to be on the show so that, let me see. Okay. Let me see. Cynthia isn't here. Nneka isn't. Okay, Nneka is here. So, Nneka, I'm sending you a request. Please accept it. Yes, Tinu gave a very detailed analysis. Very succinct. I agree. Hello, Nneka. Oh, she left. Okay, Cynthia is here now. All right. Let me get Cynthia. Cynthia is supposed to be up next. So, Cynthia, I've sent you a request.
Okay.
Hi, Cynthia. Good evening.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Fine. Sorry, my lighting is not too wonderful, but I'm sure you can hear me.
No problem. We can hear you. As long as we can hear you. And that's
okay.
The most important thing. No, we would love to see your beautiful clearly.
So,
I do. The question I have for you, Cynthia, is what do you think Nigerians want, really? What do the people of Nigeria, what do they want, really?
Okay, so truthfully, I will just say that we want a fair playing ground for everybody. That's just it. We want a fair playing ground. I want to be able to stand up without knowing anybody, without having any godfather. I want to be able to just say, I want to go and contest for governor.
Like what I said.
Yeah, exactly. You understand? Where the child of a nobody can become somebody in Nigeria. That's just what we want, basically. And if you think about it, I'll go with some points from what Tinu has said and some points from what Lara has said. That lack of trust is a big issue in our society. It's not even just about the governance, it's about us as a people, you get. And then Lara said something about education. Now, the truth is that in Nigeria, I think one of the most important things that we need as a people is value-based educational system. Not just a system that says you go to school, you finish your university, and you should get a job. That's just all our educational system says. It doesn't teach you the basics of policy, the basics of the constitutional rights, the basics of entrepreneurship, the basics of earning on your own. Do you understand? We don't have a value-based system. It's just go to school. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you study the course that you really wanted to study? No. I know that more than 70% of us are we're not specializing in the fields that we read.
Even the course that I studied, I'm still not specializing in it. Like,
exactly.
I'm not even specializing in it.
Exactly. Do you understand? So a lot of people are just like, those people that are our weaknesses that Tinu talked about, they are the ones that they are seemingly at the lower end of the ladder. And let me explain why I said so. They feel that everything in this life is to their disadvantage. And because there's no value-based educational system, do you understand? It just makes them feel like, after all, you said I should go to school, secondary school, university, I should get a job. The jobs are not there. So they just keep feeling like, oh, this system is a fraud. It is to my disadvantage. What is the next thing I will do? That kind of person can never have empathy because he doesn't understand what value is. He was never taught. He doesn't understand fundamental human rights. He was never taught all those things. So he doesn't understand what value is. Most of us that understand what value is, we probably learned it in our small units. That's the family units. And also as we were growing, developing ourselves. And if you look at the people that we call our weaknesses, they are the ones that a very tiny percentage of them would actually sprout out of that situation and become something good. And when it sprouts and becomes something good, we don't go back to say, oh, because I did this, I did that, I did this, I was able to take this step. They brought an opportunity to say LSCTF is giving funding. I took this step. I was able to do this and do that. We don't go back. We're just all concerned about how do I move forward? And it is a big problem. That's me. We need to go beyond, we need to go away from me to us. We need to go away from me to us. Do you understand? So basically, we just need a fair playing ground. And I think that for us to be able to get a fair playing ground, we need value-based education. We need an educational system that really tells people, this is what you can achieve with what you have, with who you are. Do you understand? Those kind of things. We need accountability. We need transparency. Do you understand? We don't need to wait. So, for instance, look at all the COVID palliatives that are coming up. They're springing up. It's so ridiculous. And I'm like,
he said he wants to change for his birthday. I don't know how true that is, but if that is true, I'm like, what?
I'm just wondering how come. And then, publications are springing up saying, oh, these things were received in September. And I'm wondering, in September, the economy was sort of in full gear. I understand. Yes, people were going out, doing their business, earning money. They were doing things. So what happened if they were really delivered in September? What happened to March, April, May, when COVID was at its peak? When people were
let's give them benefit of doubt. You said no trust. They haven't been delivered at that time. They don't. You don't understand. They had the question for it since March.
No.
Yes. So
it's very important that we give equal opportunities to everybody. And how can the government give us equal opportunities? Education. That education is very important. Honestly, you don't even need to hand a person money. Once you give them value-based education, they would trust you, because they know that this thing that you have taught me, I can go and fish by myself. I don't need to, I don't need to wait on you before I can get fish. Let me end with this. So a former ED of mine, we used to say something about knowledge is power. That's the popular saying that goes around, right? And the man says, for him, knowledge is not power. You know why? Because when you have knowledge, you are not using it. You are not applying it. You are not transformed by the knowledge. How can you wield your power? You cannot.
Even what's the name of this series? I'm trying to remember the series. This very popular series. I can't remember right now. In it, they said knowledge is power. And the lady said, no, power is power. Simple.
Yes. And the application of knowledge. It's the application. It's the application of knowledge, that knowledge that you are learning, that you are gaining, that would give you power. Yeah. That would give you power. So that's just it. Level playing ground, value-based education. I mean, with those things, you'll be able to progress. When they know that, oh, these people have this knowledge, they will know that, oh, we must be accountable to these people. We must be transparent to these people. We must answer them. So that's all I say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much, Cynthia. I have to let you go now. Okay, see, peeps, we are getting right into this thing, but I'm looking at the time and seeing that it seems like our time is not going to be be enough. So this is what I want to do. I want to ask for a favor from you. I'm going to end this live show now and then start again. Don't go away, oh. Please don't go away. I'm going to end the live show now and then start again so that we'll have more time. IG gives us 1 hour for live shows, and we've used about 40 minutes now, and that's 20 minutes. I know that 20 minutes won't be enough for us, and I don't want to rush the remaining 2 people. So please stay with me. Don't go away. I'm ending it right now, and then I'm going to start again. Please let me see if you heard me. Just give me thumbs up if you heard me. Give me thumbs up if you heard me, please. I don't want to leave here till I know that you people are coming back. Give me a thumbs up, please. Amaka. Give me a thumbs up. I want to start seeing the thumbs up. If you are going to join me, as I end this, please give me a thumbs up, please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to see plenty thumbs up. Let me see before I go. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I'm going to save it. Thank you. I'm going to save it.